I used to believe family was everything, that blood was thicker than any lie. I remember sitting at the Thanksgiving dinner table 3 years ago watching my mom laugh at one of my dad's terrible jokes. My little sister Jessica telling us about her psychology classes at college. Everything felt perfect. Safe. The turkey was golden, the house smelled like cinnamon and pine, and I had just gotten promoted at my software engineering job in Portland. But my phone kept buzzing in my pocket. Text messages from an unknown number. Something felt off, like a shadow creeping into a bright room. I had no idea that in less than 48 hours, one text message would turn every person at that table against me. Before I tell you what happened next, I want to know where you are watching this from. Drop your city or country in the comments below. And if you have ever felt completely alone, even when surrounded by people who are supposed to love you, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to hear how this story ends, because trust me, you will not see this coming. Now let me take you back to where it all started to fall apart. Life before everything collapsed was ordinary in the best way possible. I was 28 years old, working as a software engineer at a tech startup in Portland, Oregon. The job was demanding but rewarding. I had just been promoted to senior developer, which meant longer hours, but also the validation that my hard work mattered. My apartment was small but comfortable, overlooking the Willamette River. On weekends, I would grab coffee at my favorite spot on Hawthorne Boulevard and catch up with college friends. My family was tight-knit. My dad, Michael, had recently retired after 30 years of teaching high school history. He spent his days reading biographies and tending to his vegetable garden. My mom, Patricia, still worked as a nurse at the local hospital, coming home with stories about patients that would make us laugh or cry. And then there was Jessica, my little sister, 22 years old, and in her junior year studying psychology. She had always looked up to me growing up. I taught her how to ride a bike, helped her with math homework, scared away her first terrible boyfriend. We were close. Everything felt stable, predictable. I thought I knew exactly how my life would unfold. Maybe meet someone special, get married, eventually have kids, stay close to my family in Portland. The future felt like a straight line stretching ahead of me. Then came that Thanksgiving weekend. The dinner itself was perfect. Mom made her famous herb stuffing, Dad carved the turkey with his usual ceremony, Jessica talked about her finals coming up. We played board games afterward, argued about politics in that comfortable family way, where nobody really gets angry. I left around 9 that evening because I had work the next morning. Hugged everyone goodbye. Told them I loved them. 2 days later, my phone rang. It was Mom, but her voice sounded wrong, cold, shaking. "Jameson, did you do something to Lauren?" Lauren, Jessica's friend from college. I had met her a handful of times at family gatherings. She had been at Jessica's birthday party 3 months earlier, the one we threw at my parents' house. I remembered her being quiet, polite. We had maybe exchanged 10 words the entire evening. "What are you talking about?" I asked, confusion flooding through me. There was a long pause. I could hear my mom breathing, trying to compose herself. "Lauren told Jessica that you did something to her. Something unforgivable." My stomach dropped. The world tilted. "Mom, what? I have no idea what you are talking about." "She says you assaulted her at Jessica's birthday party when she went to lie down in the guest bedroom because she had too much to drink." The words hit me like a physical blow. I actually stumbled backward in my apartment, reaching for the kitchen counter to steady myself. My mind raced back to that party. I had left early. I remembered checking my watch, seeing it was almost 9, telling Jessica I had to head out because I had a morning meeting. There were at least 20 people there who could confirm that. Mom, that's insane. That never happened. I left the party before 9. I was at work by 9:30. I can prove it. But even as I said it, I could hear the doubt in her silence. Lauren was crying when she told Jessica. She said she has been terrified for 3 months. Mom, please, you have to believe me. This is crazy. Why would she say this? I do not know what to believe right now, Jameson. I need to think. She hung up. Just like that. My own mother hung up on me. I stood in my kitchen phone, still pressed to my ear, listening to the dial tone. My hands were shaking. This could not be happening. This could not be real. 10 minutes later, my dad called. His voice was different too. Hard. Disappointed. Son, I need you to tell me the truth. If you did something, we will get you help. We will face this together. But you have to be honest. Dad, I did not do anything. I swear to God I did not touch her. I was not even there when she says this happened. Then why would she lie? It was the question I could not answer. Why would anyone make up something so terrible? What did Lauren have to gain from destroying my life? That night, Jessica sent me a text. Just one line. I cannot believe you did this to my friend. Do not contact me. I read it over and over, sitting alone in my apartment, as the city lights flickered outside my window. My little sister, the girl I had protected her entire life. She thought I was capable of this. I tried to call her. She blocked my number. I sent emails. No response. I reached out to my parents again. My mom said they needed space to process everything. That night I learned what it felt like to be guilty until proven innocent. And in the court of family opinion, there was no trial. The isolation happened faster than I could have imagined. Within a week, I was removed from every family group chat, the Christmas planning thread where we had been discussing gifts just days before, the family updates group where my parents shared photos of their garden and Jessica posted about her classes. Gone. I received a formal email from my mom. She said they had decided it would be best if I did not attend the annual Christmas gathering. Given the current situation, we think it would be too uncomfortable for everyone involved. Everyone involved. As if I was the problem. As if I had done something wrong. Extended family started hearing about it. My Aunt Susan, who had always sent me birthday cards with $20 bills inside, sent me a message saying she was deeply disappointed and thought I was raised better than this. My cousin Derek, who I used to play basketball with every summer, unfriended me on social media without a word. I saw my Uncle Tom at the grocery store 2 weeks after Thanksgiving. We made eye contact across the produce section. He looked at me, his face hardening, and then he turned and walked the other way. Pretended he had not seen me. I stood there holding a bag of apples, feeling like I might throw up. Work became complicated too. I had not told anyone there about the accusation, but somehow rumors started circulating. A coworker asked me one day if everything was okay with my family. I mumbled something about personal issues, but I could feel people looking at me differently, whispering when I walked by. Friends from college started distancing themselves. Mark, who I had known since freshman year, stopped responding to my texts. Sarah, who used to invite me to her dinner parties, suddenly had excuses every time I suggested meeting up. I was becoming a ghost, erased from my own life. But I refused to give up. I hired a lawyer, paid $300 just for a consultation. He told me that since Lauren had not filed a police report, there was not much I could do legally. If she accuses you formally, we can defend you. But right now, this is just a he said, she said situation in the court of public opinion. So I decided to gather evidence myself. I contacted everyone who had been at Jessica's birthday party. I needed witnesses, proof that I had left early, that I could not have done what Lauren claimed. 3 friends confirmed they saw me leave around 9. I got them to write statements, sign, and date them. I pulled up my work security logs showing I had swiped my badge to enter the building at 9:32 that evening. I found text messages I had sent to a coworker at 9:45 about a project deadline. I compiled everything into a detailed email, timeline, witnesses, physical evidence. I sent it to my mom with a subject line that said, "Please read this." She responded 3 days later. Just 2 sentences. Lauren says she does not remember the exact time. She is dealing with psychological trauma and her memory is fragmented. I stared at that email for an hour. The goalposts had moved. Now it did not matter that I had proof I was not there at the time she originally claimed. Her story could shift, could blur, could adapt to avoid my evidence. And everyone would still believe her because she was the victim. I felt rage building inside me. Not just at Lauren, but at my family. At the system that said an accusation was enough to convict someone in the eyes of everyone they loved. 6 months passed. 6 months of therapy appointments where I tried to process the betrayal. 6 months of job applications to other cities because I could not stand living in Portland anymore, running into people who looked at me like I was a monster. 6 months of wondering if I would ever get my life back. Then, one Saturday afternoon, I was at a coffee shop in Northeast Portland. I was sitting by the window working on my laptop when I looked up and saw them. Jessica and Lauren. Walking in together, laughing about something. My heart started pounding. I had not seen either of them in person since this nightmare began. Part of me wanted to run, but another part, the part that had been screaming for justice for 6 months, made me stand up. I walked over to their table. Lauren saw me first. Her face went pale. "We need to talk," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Jessica immediately stood up, positioning herself between us. "Get away from her, Jameson. You have done enough damage." "Damage? What damage have I done? I have not seen you in 6 months. I have been cut off from my entire family because of a lie." "It is not a lie," Jessica said, but her voice wavered. I looked directly at Lauren. She would not meet my eyes. "Why are you doing this to me?" I asked her. "What did I ever do to you? We barely know each other." Lauren's hands were shaking. She gripped her coffee cup tighter. "Jessica, I am your brother," I said, turning to her. "I changed your diapers when you were a baby. I taught you how to ride a bike. I helped you study for your SATs. You know me. How can you possibly believe I would do something like this?" Jessica's eyes filled with tears. "I know what I want to believe, but Lauren is my best friend, and she has no reason to lie." "Everyone has a reason to lie," I said quietly. Lauren finally spoke, her voice small and trembling. "I just want to move on. I do not want to press charges or make this bigger. I just needed my truth to be heard." And there it was. The perfect trap. She did not want to press charges because that would mean a real investigation. That would mean having to stick to one story, having to provide evidence, having to face cross-examination. As long as this stayed in the realm of whispered accusations and family drama, she was safe. But I was the one paying the price. "Please leave us alone," Jessica said, her voice breaking. I looked at both of them one more time. Then I walked out of that coffee shop, got in my car, and drove home. I sat in my parking space for 20 minutes, and for the first time since this whole thing started, I cried. Really cried. The kind of crying that comes from somewhere deep and broken inside you. A year went by. Then 2. I moved to Seattle, took a job at a different company, tried to build a new life. I stopped reaching out to my family. Stopped trying to prove my innocence. What was the point? They had made their choice. I spent Thanksgivings alone, Christmas alone, my birthday alone. I developed anxiety that made it hard to sleep, trust issues that made it impossible to date. I would wake up from nightmares where I was being accused of things I had not done, standing in front of crowds, who all pointed at me and shouted guilty. 3 years. 3 years of being erased. 3 years of carrying the weight of a crime I never committed. I stopped trying to prove my innocence. I just tried to survive each day. Then one Friday evening in October, 3 years after that Thanksgiving dinner, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost did not answer, but something made me pick up. Jameson. It was Jessica. She was crying. I need to talk to you, please. My first instinct was to hang up. 3 years of silence, and now she wanted to talk. But something in her voice stopped me. This was not anger or accusation. This was desperation. What do you want? I asked, my voice cold. I am so sorry, she sobbed. I am so sorry. You were right. You were right about everything. My heart started racing. What are you talking about? Lauren, last night we went out drinking. She got really drunk and she started crying and saying she felt guilty. At first I thought she meant about the trauma from what happened. But then she said, Jameson, she said she made it all up. The world stopped. I could not breathe. What? She confessed. She told me nothing happened with you. Nothing. It was all a lie. I sat down on my couch, my legs giving out. Why? Why would she do that? Jessica's voice cracked. She was having an affair with a married man. They hooked up at my birthday party in the guest bedroom. His wife started getting suspicious, started asking questions. Lauren panicked. She needed a cover story, something to explain why she was acting weird, why she might have been seen going into that bedroom. So she made up the story about you. 3 years. 3 years of my life destroyed because Lauren needed an alibi for cheating. She thought if everyone believed she was a victim, no one would dig deeper into what she was really doing that night. Jessica continued. And you were the perfect target because you are my brother. She knew the family would believe her. How do you know she is telling the truth now? I asked, my voice hollow. I recorded it. I was using a voice memo app on my phone for something else earlier and forgot to turn it off. It caught everything. Jameson, I have her confession. She sent me the audio file. I listened to it 3 times. Lauren's drunk, slurred voice saying I made it all up. Nothing happened with Jameson. I just needed people to stop asking questions about that night. I felt everything at once. Rage, relief, grief, vindication. 3 years of my life stolen because of one woman's selfish decision. What do you want me to do? I asked Jessica finally. Whatever you need to do. I will support you. I will tell Mom and Dad. I will tell everyone. Jameson, I am so sorry I did not believe you. I thought about it for a long time. The revenge fantasies I had entertained over the years. Taking her to court. Destroying her reputation the way she destroyed mine. Making her pay. But I realized that was not what I wanted. What I wanted was simpler. I wanted my family back. I wanted the truth to be known. I wanted to stop carrying this weight. Set up a meeting, I told Jessica. You, me, Mom, and Dad. I want them to hear the recording. 3 days later, I drove back to Portland for the first time in 2 years. I walked into my childhood home, into the living room, where I had opened Christmas presents and played board games and felt safe. My parents sat on the couch, looking older and more tired than I remembered. The air was thick with tension. None of us knew what to say. I pulled out my phone and played the recording. Watched their faces as they heard Lauren's voice. I made it all up. Nothing happened with Jameson. Nothing. My mom's hand went to her mouth. My dad's face crumpled. When it finished, there was absolute silence. "I am so sorry," my mom whispered. "Jameson, I am so sorry." 3 years, I said quietly. 3 birthdays, 3 Christmases, 3 years of you thinking I was capable of hurting someone. My dad stood up, walked over to me, and did something he had not done since I was a kid. He pulled me into a hug and started crying. "I failed you. I am your father, and I failed to protect you." The next step was confronting Lauren. Jessica arranged it, told Lauren we needed to meet. Lauren tried to refuse until she learned we had the recording. Then she had no choice. She came to my parents' house the following week, sat in the same living room, looking small and terrified. Jessica, my parents, and I all sat across from her. I did not yell. I did not scream. I just looked at her and asked one question. "Do you understand what you took from me?" She could not look at me. 3 years, Lauren, 3 years of my life, my family, my friends, my reputation, my peace of mind, my ability to trust people. "Do you understand that—" "I am sorry," she whispered. "Sorry does not give me back what I lost. Sorry does not erase 3 years of nightmares and therapy and being treated like a criminal." She started crying. I was scared. I made a mistake. "You did not make a mistake," I said. "Mistakes are accidents. You made a choice. You chose to destroy my life to cover up your affair. That was not a mistake. That was calculated." I told her what I wanted: a written confession, a letter to everyone she had told admitting she lied. My parents, extended family, mutual friends, everyone. She wrote it, sent it out the next day. I did not ask her to. I told her that if she did not, I would pursue legal action for defamation and slander. The truth was, I probably did not have much of a case after 3 years, but she did not know that. She was scared enough to comply. The responses came flooding in: shock, anger, apologies to me. People who had cut me out of their lives suddenly wanted to reconnect, wanted to explain why they had believed her, wanted forgiveness. Lauren lost everything. Friends stopped talking to her. Her boyfriend left her when he found out what she had done. Her co-workers heard about it. She ended up moving to a different state 6 months later. The healing did not happen overnight. My mom called me every day for weeks, crying, apologizing. My dad wrote me a letter pages long about his regrets and his love for me. Jessica visited me in Seattle, spending weekends trying to rebuild what we had lost. It was awkward at first, painful. How do you forgive people who abandoned you when you needed them most? How do you trust them again? My therapist told me that forgiveness is not about forgetting. It is not about saying what they did was okay. It is about choosing to release the grip that anger has on your heart. So I tried. I went to dinner with my parents. Stiff conversations at first, then gradually easier. I answered Jessica's calls. Let her back into my life, slowly, carefully. A year after the truth came out, I went home for Thanksgiving. Sat at that same table where this nightmare had started 4 years earlier. It was not the same. It could never be the same. There was a sadness underneath everything now, a knowledge of how fragile trust really is. But we were together, and that meant something. I started therapy, real intensive therapy, to process everything: the betrayal, the isolation, the fear that had lived in my chest for 3 years. I learned that trauma does not just disappear when the truth comes out. It leaves marks. I met someone. Her name was Stephanie. We met at a support group for people who had been falsely accused of things. She understood in a way most people could not. We took things slow. I told her everything on our third date, expecting her to run. She stayed. I picked up old hobbies, started hiking again, something I had loved before all this happened. Bought a camera and got into photography. Small things that reminded me I was more than what had happened to me. I made new friends in Seattle. People who knew me as Jameson, the software engineer who liked craft beer and terrible action movies. Not Jameson, the guy who was falsely accused. The nightmares became less frequent. The anxiety loosened its grip. I learned to trust again, bit by bit. I thought a lot about what I had learned from all of this. Lessons written in pain, but valuable nonetheless. I learned that the truth does not always set you free immediately. Sometimes it takes years. Sometimes it comes when you have stopped waiting for it. I learned that forgiveness is not about the person who hurt you. It is about freeing yourself from the weight of carrying their betrayal. I forgave my family, not because what they did was okay, but because I deserved to be free from the anger. I learned that family is not just blood. It is the people who stand by you when your blood turns away. Some of my closest friends now are people I met after everything fell apart. People who believed me when it mattered. I learned that being believed is a privilege, not a right. And when that privilege is taken away, you discover who you really are underneath everything else. You discover your strength, your resilience, your capacity to survive. I do not hate Lauren anymore. I do not wish her well either. She lives somewhere in my past, a person who caused me terrible pain, but who no longer has power over my present. Hating her would mean giving her more of my life, and she has taken enough. I do not hate my family either. They are human. They made a terrible mistake. They believed the wrong person. But they are trying to make it right, and I am trying to let them. Today, I talk to my parents every week. Jessica and I text almost every day. We went on a hiking trip together last month, just the two of us. We did not talk about what happened. We talked about her new job, my relationship with Stephanie, stupid childhood memories that make us laugh. We will never get back what we lost. Those 3 years are gone. The innocence of believing your family will always choose you is gone. But we are building something new, something more honest, something that acknowledges we are all capable of failing each other and that the work is in choosing to try again anyway. If you are going through something similar, if someone has lied about you and the people you love believed them, I want you to know this. The truth has a way of surfacing. It might take longer than you want. It might come when you have stopped hoping for it. But it comes. You just have to survive long enough to see it. Your reputation can be rebuilt. Your peace can be found. Your story does not end with someone else's lie. It ends with your choice to keep living. Have you ever been falsely accused of something? Have you ever had to fight to prove your innocence to the people who should have believed you from the start? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might help someone else feel less alone. And if this story resonated with you, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel, because I share more stories about resilience, truth, and the complicated reality of family relationships. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that they are not alone in their struggle. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that even in the darkest times, truth and healing are possible. Stay strong and remember that your worth is not determined by the lies others tell about you.